I'm sitting at the Palazetti glass-top desk, staring into my monitor with my Ray-Bans on, chewing Nuprin, hung over from a Coke binge that started innocently enough last night at Shout, with Charles Hamilton, Andrew Spencer, and Chris Stafford, and then moved on to the Princeton Club, progressed to Barcadia, and ended at Nell's around 3:30. And though earlier this morning, while soaking in a bath, sipping a Stoli Bloody Mary after maybe 4 hours of sweaty, dreamless sleep, I realized that there was a meeting. I seem to have forgotten about it on the cab ride downtown. Jean is wearing a red stretch silk jacket, a crocheted rayon ribbon skirt, red suede pumps with satin bows by Susan Bennis Warren Edwards, and gold-plated earrings by Robert Lee Morris. She stands there in front of me, oblivious to my pain, a file in her hand. After pretending to ignore her for close to a minute, I finally lower my sunglasses and clear my throat. Yes? Something else? Jean? Mr. Grouchy today. She smiles, placing the file timidly on my desk, and stands there expecting me to, what, amuse her with vignettes from last night? Yes, you simpleton. I am Mr. Grouchy today, I hiss, grabbing the file and shoving it in the top desk drawer. She stares at me, uncomprehending, then, actually looking crestfallen, says, Ted Madison called, and so did James Baker. They want to meet you at Flutie's at 6. I sigh, glaring at her. Well, what should you do? She laughs nervously, standing there, her eyes wide. I'm not sure. Jean, I stand up to lead her out of the office. What do you say? It takes her a little while, but finally, frightened, she guesses. Just say no? Just say no. I nod, pushing her out and slamming the door. Before leaving my office for the meeting, I take 2 Valium, wash them down with a Perrier, and then use a scruffing cleanser on my face with pre-moistened cotton balls, afterwards applying a moisturizer. I'm wearing a wool tweed suit and a striped cotton shirt, both by Yves Saint Laurent, and a silk tie by Armani, and new black cap-toed shoes by Ferragamo. I plax, then brush my teeth, and when I blow my nose, thick, ropey strings of blood and snot stain a $45 handkerchief from Hermes that unfortunately wasn't a gift. But I've been drinking close to 20 liters of Evian water a day, and going to the tanning salon regularly, and one night of binging hasn't affected my skin's smoothness or color tone. My complexion is still excellent. 3 drops of Visine clear the eyes. An ice pack tightens the skin. All it comes down to is, I feel like shit, but look great. I'm also the first to make it to the boardroom. Louis Carruthers follows like a puppy dog at my heels, a close second, and takes the seat next to mine, which means I'm supposed to take off my Walkman. He's wearing a wool plaid sports jacket, wool slacks, a Hugo Boss cotton shirt, and paisley tie. Slacks, I'm guessing, from Brooks Brothers. He starts rattling on about a restaurant in Phoenix, Profiteers, that I'm actually interested in hearing about, but not from Louis Carruthers. Yet I'm on 10 milligrams of Valium, and for that reason I can manage. On the Patty Winters show this morning were descendants of members of the Donner Party. The clients were total hicks, predictably, Louis is saying. They wanted to take me to a local production of Les Mis, which I already saw in London, but... Did you have any trouble getting reservations at Profiteers? I ask, cutting him off. No, not at all, he says. We ate late. And what did you order? I ask. I had the poached oysters, the lot, and the walnut tart. I hear the lot is good there, I murmur, lost in thought. The client had the boudin blanc, the roasted chicken, and the cheesecake, he says. Cheesecake, I say, confused by this plain, alien-sounding list. What sauce or fruits were on the roasted chicken? What shapes was it cut into? None, Patrick, he says, also confused. It was roasted. And the cheesecake? What flavor? Was it heated? I say. Ricotta cheesecake? Goat cheese? Were there flowers or cilantro in it? It was just regular, he says. And then, Patrick, you're sweating. What did she have? I ask, ignoring him. The client's bimbo. Well, she had the country salad, the scallops, and the lemon tart, Louis says. The scallops were grilled? Were they sashimi scallops? In a ceviche of sorts? I'm asking. Or were they gratinized? No, Patrick, Louis says. They were broiled. It's silent in the boardroom as I contemplate this, thinking it through, before asking finally, What's broiled, Louis? I'm not sure, he says. I think it involves a pan. Wine? I ask. An 85 Sauvignon Blanc, he says. Jordan, 2 bottles. Car, I ask. Did you rent while in Phoenix? BMW, he smiles. Little black Beamer. Hip, I murmur, remembering last night how I lost it completely in a stall at Nell's, my mouth foaming. All I could think about were insects, lots of insects, and running at pigeons, foaming at the mouth and running at pigeons. Phoenix. Janet Leigh was from Phoenix. I stall, then continue. She got stabbed in the shower. Disappointing scene. I pause. Blood looked fake. Listen, Patrick, Lewis says, pressing his handkerchief into my hand. My fingers clenched into a fist that relaxes at Lewis's touch. Dibble and I are having lunch next week at the Yale Club. Would you like to join us? Sure.